ago. The Bash, 2009. I'm always going to call it the Great American Bash no matter what, but I was lucky enough to be at this event. Sacramento, California, Arco Arena.
Holy cow.
That man was there too, Gemini. But that place was rocking. Sacramento did us proud for that. The one match on here that going in was the one match I was really hoping to be a big match was Cena versus The Miz. I was going to be the one guy in the whole place that was going against Cena. I thought there'd be more of a anti-Cena crowd, but Sacramento apparently loves the John Cena, and and The Miz went down like a match on WWF Superstars. Cena just took advantage of him, wrapped him around. CM Punk, Jeff Hardy was a great title match main event. Punk acted like he got poked in the eyes, rolled up Hardy for the pin, and then you had Triple H and Orton. I really thought Triple H was going to be taking the title home today. I thought he was going to be taking it home, but it looked like Legacy was breaking up at the time. DiBiase came out and hit him over the head with the sledgehammer, knocked him out, and Triple H got the loss. Then, hey, what up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today. Coming up soon on the anniversary of the Bash 09. This was the second ever pay-per-view that I ever attended. The first one would be the Royal Rumble 2002, so there was a good 7-year gap. And this was basically me getting back into wrestling. From 2002, I didn't attend a show until 2006, which was a house show in Sacramento, and then the Bash 09 was the next show that I went to, so I was slowly getting back into it. But as you know of by this channel and my videos, by 2010, I was fully back into wrestling after going to WrestleMania 26. But this was during the time when I would just basically watch Monday Night Raw, sporadically would watch SmackDown, but really wasn't into what I was watching, sort of just watching it because it's what I would always had watched. So I won these tickets. Well, long story short, I didn't win these tickets. I should have won these tickets to go to the Bash in Sacramento via Twitter. Twitter was just basically really getting started up and really getting going around 2009. And Arco Arena, now the Sleep Train Arena, had a guy there that was doing wrestling trivia to win tickets. And basically he was asking what the main event for the Bash 2009 was, making sure that somebody who was a real wrestling fan was going to be able to get on. Me, being a guy that knew the dirt sheets, was telling him Triple H versus Randy Orton in 3 Stages of Hell was going to be the main event. And the guy who was sort of rooting for me because I had been in on a few contests, basically told me that I was wrong, that the main event was going to be Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk. And I told him, dude, you don't know. And then the next week, after the match was announced, the guy actually apologized to me, but he told me there was nothing they can do. But because of these contests that were being run by Arco Arena, I found a few other Sacramento wrestling fans that were on Twitter, and one of the guys basically said that he had won two pairs of seats, one from one contest and one from another. And he said basically, show up the day of the show, meet me, and I'll give you a pair of tickets. So I was really excited to go to the Bash. The one thing that I remember about more than anything was it was really freaking hot. You can ask Zach, you can ask Gemini. Both of them will tell you it was probably 110 degrees. And what I did was basically I just walked up and acted like I wanted to buy tickets to go to the show. So I was in where the ticket booth was, and I just found a spot inside, and I just sort of sat against the wall and made sure that I stayed out of the way. Every once in a while, security came by and asked me what I was doing, and I just said, I'm waiting for my tickets to free up and we'll call, and they just left me alone. That's the one thing I remember. If you have seen this show or watched it, they had a concert that was outside. It was Randy Orton, whoever the band is that plays Randy Orton's theme, was playing out there, and I can remember looking out the window and seeing that there were people being treated for heat exhaustion. It was just too freaking hot to be outside in Sacramento, California that day. That's what I remember more than anything about this show. When it comes down to it, the show really didn't it's not really a big memorable show. The only championships that changed hands were the crowning of the new WWE Tag Team Champions, which wasn't even a match that was booked going into it. It was booked on the fly as you were watching the pay-per-view. There's some good matches on here. Probably the Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho is probably one of the best matches that they ever had against each other that I know of. But the show started out with a match between R-Truth and Shelton Benjamin. And honestly, this is at the point when Peyton was, I believe, 1. She fell asleep during this show, and she didn't wake up until, I believe, the main event was almost over. So she was out for almost about 3 hours. But R-Truth beat Shelton Benjamin in a match that didn't really matter to begin with. It was a dark match. Once the pay-per-view started, it kicked off with the ECW Championship being held up in a scramble match. I'm always a fan of the scramble matches, but this one was held more like a Royal Rumble. I'm not 100% sure, but they sort of changed the way they did it with 2 guys starting out inside of the ring, and then I'm not sure how long it was, but every minute, maybe 2 minutes, a guy joined the match. And you know how scramble matches go. Once you get a pinfall, you're now the interim champion, and once time runs out, basically that's when the champion is named, whoever got the last pinfall. Tommy Dreamer ended up winning this match. It also involved Jack Swagger, Christian, Mark Henry, and Finley. I believe Christian is about the only one that didn't achieve a pinfall during this match. Swagger got 2 of them. I really thought that he was going to win. He was really hot in ECW at this time. Swagger pinned Finley with the schoolboy. Finley hit the Celtic Cross on Swagger to get it back. Henry hit the big World's Strongest Slam on Tommy Dreamer. And then right after that, Swagger pinned Henry with the Swagger Bomb. And then Tommy Dreamer did his DDT to Christian. And that was about when about a minute was left inside of the match. And then he just went into playing defense instead of playing offense. Every time there was something going on inside of the match that was leading to a pinfall, he just would break up the pin. Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho was a very hot feud in 2009. It was a mask versus title match for the Intercontinental Championship match. Jericho was really trying to get Mysterio's mask at the time. Mysterio was trying to get the belt. So I guess he won the Intercontinental Championship that night. I guess I didn't think about that. I thought for some reason Mysterio was the champion going in. Very, very cool exchange in this match. Is basically there's a lot of guys going for finishes throughout the whole match. At one point, Jericho was ripping off Mysterio's mask, and it looked like he had done it only to show off that Mysterio was wearing 2 masks that night. And involved in the confusion, Mysterio hit the 619 on Jericho, which led to him coming off the top rope with a flying crossbody, and Mysterio was able to roll him up and get the 1, 2, 3. But it was a very cool thing. Jericho's even talked about this, is that he told this finish to Vince, and Vince told him it was impossible for Jericho to rip the mask off of Mysterio while he was being involved in a 619, and Jericho did it, and then Vince said, go ahead, do it, and it's probably one of the coolest finishes that I've seen in a mask match before. Ziggler and Khali fought in a no DQ match, which led to the return of Kane coming down and beating up Khali, which let Ziggler get the win. There was a match planned for the night, which was the Colognes going up against the Legacy, which I think both teams at that time were Raw teams. And Teddy Long was pressuring Vince McMahon to make SmackDown a better show, saying that he should be able to add a team into this tag team match. Edge, who didn't have a match for the night, was there, and Jericho, who had lost earlier in the night to Rey Mysterio, ended up forming a tag team going after the championships, and they pulled off the win. I remember sitting there that night thinking that Legacy was really going to win the match, and they were going to keep the titles, or get the titles, I apologize. So sort of forming the super group of Legacy with Cody, Ted DiBiase, and Randy Orton all having championships. But after this match, basically Legacy was pissed that Randy Orton didn't help them the same way that they had helped him. So basically, it looked like that Legacy split up with Ted DiBiase walking away from Randy Orton when Orton was telling him what to do for the 3 Stages of Hell match. Basically, Cody Rhodes was left. I don't know what to do. Do I go with my partner or do I follow my leader? So it looked like Legacy was done for right there. Michelle McCool beat Melina. I don't remember that match at all, honestly. Jeff Hardy and CM Punk fought for the World Heavyweight Championship. This match was basically ended in a DQ. As a person that was sitting in the arena that night, I had no clue, and basically nobody knew what the DQ was for. Basically, we sat there and wondering what the hell had happened for moments upon moments before finally it was like word was passed like telephone from the row in front of you told you, and then you told the person behind you, and you're like, oh, now it makes sense. But Jeff Hardy hit a swanton bomb for a 1-2-3. It was like he was going to be announced the winner, and the referee noticed that CM Punk's foot was under the bottom rope, so the match had to continue. The guys started to brawl. At this point, CM Punk just flat out kicked the referee in the head. And from where I was sitting, it looked like it was an accident, so I thought the fight would continue. But the ref asked for the bell, and then after that, Jeff Hardy just attacked CM Punk. So I was sitting there wondering, like, at the time leading into it, CM Punk was sort of looking like he was going to go heel at the time. Jeff Hardy sort of looked like at the time he had turned heel on CM Punk. So I was really lost on this until I got home and actually read some reviews about what was happening. It just looked like Hardy just turned on Punk is what I thought they were doing, and I thought they were doing like a double switch or something like that. I wasn't sure. But, the next match was probably the match that I was most excited for leading into the pay-per-view. John Cena going up against The Miz. The Miz had been getting the better of John Cena for weeks upon Monday Night Raw. The Miz at the time was wearing like this sleeve that was on his arm, and it would say like Miz 1, Cena 0, and I don't remember how high it got, but basically like they would be going to have a match on Raw, and Cena would be attacked, and The Miz would declare himself the winner by forfeit and things like that. But it was hot and it was fun. I thought they were really going to make The Miz, but Cena went out there and he beat The Miz in 5 minutes, and it felt like he could have beat him in 30 seconds, because I don't even think The Miz hit one move of offense in the whole match. From there, we went to the main event, which was the 3 stages of hell, Randy Orton versus Triple H. I believe it was a singles match, a Falls Count Anywhere match, which led to a stretcher match. Orton got the first win against Triple H in the regular wrestling match, which led to them brawling all over the arena in a Falls Count Anywhere. They were fighting all throughout the crowd on the floor, which led to, I believe, Triple H hitting the pedigree on Randy Orton, getting the 1-2-3, which led to them doing not a stretcher match. That's what it was. And, it looked like Triple H was going to win. He was pushing him all the way up to the top of the ramp where he was going to cross the line. At the last minute, I believe it was Ted DiBiase emerged from out of the back where no one could see him and just sledgehammered Triple H. And basically they pushed Triple H across the line, and Randy Orton was named the winner at the last moment. So all in all, it was a good show to go to if I attended it. I honestly can't remember what the YouTube, YWC's response to was of the Bash 2009. But as being the first pay-per-view that I went to in years, I had a lot of fun. And a lot of these guys are still in WWE, and they're still big stars. And they were matches that I can still remember and still do a review on it, I guess 6 years later. So, fun time, had by all. Let's see, I don't remember where I sat. I should have brought this to Bound for Glory and got Jeff Hardy to sign it with him being on the cover. I sat in section 107 and Q 17 and 18 and some comp seats. So, good stuff. I think Batista was supposed to be a big part of this show. He was on the pay-per-view poster, but I think he ended up getting injured and wasn't able to be used. So, The Bash 2009, Jeff Hardy. Fun times.